Hello everyone, my name is Holy Knight Clown. You may have noticed I haven't really posted any videos in a while. Definitely have not been posting any Uncharted themed videos. But I'm about to change that by uploading probably the last Uncharted video that I am ever going to post to the channel. Essentially, I had a bunch of clips left over. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with them, whether I was going to use them for an in-depth weapon review, or a montage, or something along those lines. But I thought I should get them out there. I felt like it would be a shame for them just to go to waste. So I'm going to use them for something. Some of these clips I'm rather proud of. Some of them aren't actually too special, some of them are just normal gameplay, but I included them because they're gonna act as a pretty good backdrop for what I'm going to talk about in this video. They represent more of, there's more represented in the clips than just what you see on the surface. They're part of a deeper meaning. I'm not going to get into specifically, or just sort of figure that out for yourself. Some of them are going to sort of line up with the points that I'm trying to make. Pretty much I'm going to talk about why, in the end, I decided to leave Uncharted 4, the real reason why, and the problems that I faced during my entire time with the game, and the things leading up to the game, and just my overall experience, and how my opinions, and how they've changed over the course of at least my time with the game. So I've been playing this game ever since day one. The closed beta, the open beta. I played from the first day that this game officially came out, all the way until some of the last days where people considered the game to be long past dead. I've stuck with it and I've been playing for a long time. I've a bit of history with the Uncharted series. The first multiplayer game I ever played was Uncharted 3, which led me on to Last of Us, and I played those games for a number of years, probably longer than I played Uncharted 4 actually. And that sort of led me to have the mindset, which I still don't quite understand, but it almost felt like I had an obligation to play this game. It felt like it was a natural progression for me to move on to this game and take it seriously, despite the problems that it had. I was planning to pretty much do what I ended up by doing before the game came out. Really, at the end of the day, I can't fault them for everything. There was a lot that Naughty Dog did right that I was very proud of them for doing. There were a lot of systems in place that I genuinely enjoyed, and I met a lot of great people over the course of my time with this game that I never would have met if I wasn't a sweaty palms little tryhard on this game, that's for sure. My YouTube channel grew a lot, which was amazing. I got over 10,000 views on some of my videos. That's absolutely insane. I never thought I would do that, or I would get anywhere near to that. But it's not unfair to fault them on a lot of the things that they did wrong this game. There were a lot of things. Really, right from the beginning, I don't think Naughty Dog knew what this game was gonna be. I don't know if they had a clear path, a clear vision. We're pretty sure that they were trying to make a balanced, fair, engaging, long-lasting, fun multiplayer. We're pretty sure that's what they were trying to do. Science is still trying to figure it out, but we're pretty sure that that's something they had on the whiteboard when they were designing this game. But nonetheless, it still felt like that maybe wasn't the end-all be-all reason for a lot of the decisions that they made in this game. It really felt like, and if for this point to make sense, you really have to think of it as most of the people who ever played Uncharted. I'm not talking about people who played it for very long, just anybody that's ever picked up this game, you really have to think of it from that point of view. Uncharted 4, for a lot of people, was a game that came with their PS4 that they got for Christmas. It's as simple as that. It came with a PS4, it was Naughty Dog, it was Sony's way of saying, welcome to the PlayStation 4 ecosystem. Here, have Uncharted 4, a big exclusive single-player game that, ooh, it happens to come with a multiplayer. I'm sure you've heard of Uncharted multiplayer, right? It was pretty popular on PS3. You give it a try here. And a lot of people did. And Naughty Dog knew that that's what their biggest their biggest influx of customers, or biggest portion of the player base was going to be, was that very casual community. So they designed the way and such. It was meant to be impactful. It was meant to be a quick experience that a lot of people weren't going to take seriously, but was going to really introduce a lot of the core principles that Sony, wants to employ in their, business model, pretty much. Like the way that they design their games, the way they like their games. They liked Uncharted. They liked the way it represented their platform. They wanted it to be as friendly to these people as possible, and at the cost of their core community, at their competitive community. There is no way you can please both. But I think they went the wrong route by choosing the casual community over this game, because it led to its death being rather quick. Because when you focus on the casual community, those aren't the people that are going to stick around. Those aren't the people, making clans. Those aren't the people that are making YouTube videos and getting lots of views on them and being figureheads to the community. Those are just casual plebs that are not, they're not even the people that buy DLC, you know? Those people didn't buy DLC. So they focused on these people, and it really starts to explain a lot of the things that they added into the game that a lot of us more competitive players it just blew our minds. Like, it just was hard to even understand their reasoning behind it. Things like the sidekicks, the mysticals, the insane blind fire, those sort of things, they should have just never been added to the game, but from a more casual focused perspective, they actually make sense. They wanted as many things in the game that would take the skill, the performance, out of the hands of the player and put it into built-in game mechanics. It was almost like a sort of welfare system, like a mechanical welfare system, to bring up the bottom tier players to a more consistent level. And a lot of the time, the tactics, like even the RNG of blind fire, was still at a higher performance level than most of the skill levels of the players using them. And this became incredibly frustrating for competitive players, because dying to a sidekick had nothing to do with the skill of the player that was using them. It literally had nothing to do with the player. It may be like the positioning of a sniper sidekick at most. But yeah, it just drove people crazy, and it led to this game having a very short life, and a lot of people just didn't put up with it. The amount of people that left very quickly after this game came out, after they saw what this game was going to be. And don't get me wrong, the launch had its own host of serious problems, but it really just killed it for a lot of people. My clanmates, especially, those are people I know very well, they take these sort of games very seriously, and they were planning on taking this game very seriously. We played on Last of Us rather competitively. We were in a clan called Holy Knights. I mean, that's where I've got my name, and we were very excited. I remember right before the game came out, we were just doing FN scrims, or not even scrims, like full-on exposure matches for anyone who wanted to play us. We lost some against some teams that we had beef with, but that was at the point where we just didn't care, because we're moving on to Uncharted. It's going to be good times, a fresh start. After a couple months, they all left. They were all gone. And these are people that were good at the game. These are people that that love to invest time and energy into a game to truly improve and become one of the best players they can possibly be. They felt that there was no reason to play this game. There was no natural progression. It didn't feel like you were going to progress anywhere. The skill ceiling of this game was set incredibly low, so there weren't many goals to achieve from. Like, you couldn't go to much higher level. If you look at the highest level of competitive play, there's actually very little difference between those players. Really, the only difference is what you're willing to use, how hard you're willing to try, and your internet connection. Really, the internet connection was another massive problem. They We wanted them to use dedicated servers, but they weren't going to do that because it didn't fit the game that they were trying to make. Uh, they wanted to unify the community under one umbrella of a peer-to-peer network that wasn't really possible with dedicated servers. It would have divided the player base too much, and based on the fact that they knew they weren't going to really have a lot of people playing the game, it would have also made the games take much longer to find. And it's also cheaper. Um, it got to the point where I just stopped trying to convince my friends that the things in this game had improved or been changed or fixed in any way, um, for them to come back and play this game. Uh, it just led to an extreme amount of disappointment on both sides, because they would often delete the game even after a couple of games, a couple of matches. They would often, some people, a couple of days at most. And these were my good friends that I was making the game as enjoyable for and answering their questions, and with me supporting them. Still left so quickly after they started. I couldn't imagine the experience of just a slightly above average player. They wouldn't have put up with it. They would have just left and they would have never come back. There was not going to be those people to tell them that the game had changed or things have different, or to get them to give it another try. It would have just been it for them, and they would have moved on. Maybe that is for the better. This is the last point I'm going to make, and it's probably one of the biggest problems or the biggest things that I sort of faced, and it's a little unexpected, but it feels like this game was never designed for me. It feels like, as a competitive player, as somebody who's, I'm gonna say it, probably one of the top tier players in the game, definitely in the few thousand, I felt completely out of place in this game, especially in the individual matches that I played. I felt like such a strong force within every match that I played that I ruined the game for pretty much everyone else. Like, really, I wouldn't be surprised if I was single-handedly responsible for a number of people quitting this game outright. I know that I was just not going to be fun to play against. And especially for that casual community, I probably ruined it for them. And maybe that was down to just really terrible matchmaking. But nonetheless, there should have been something in place. The rank system was terrible and felt like an afterthought, and due to the problems with lag, it was never going to be anything special or competitive. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Please leave comments down below. I know you guys are going to have lots of opinions about this. Tell me if you agreed with the things I said. Please tell me if you disagreed. Tell me if you enjoyed the game. Besides that, thank you so much for watching. Have a great time. Cheers, guys.